Story 1. Am I the a-hole for not giving the mother of my dead husband's child his possessions? My 30 female and my husband got married when we were 25 after 6 years. He passed away in an accident in April. A few weeks before the accident, I found out that he had a one-night stand with a woman who he worked with. When he died, I hadn't decided yet what was going to happen in our relationship. We entered counseling and were still living together, but obviously it was hectic. As I wasn't sure if we were going to divorce, I decided not to tell our families and only confided in a few close friends and my therapist. I didn't want opinions from everyone. I also didn't tell his family when he died. There was no reason to. A few weeks ago, the affair partner reached out to me. She's 5 months pregnant and preparing to raise the baby. She wanted me to tell his family because she wants her child to have a relationship with his family and be connected to his culture. I said I wouldn't do this and simply passed along their contact information. Crap hit the fan. I am close with his brothers, and I thought that they were going to raise him from the dead and kill him again. Apologies for the dark humor. They're coming around to the idea of having a relationship with the baby, but I do not want to, nor has the mother offered, which is fine. The mother has gotten back in touch with me to ask for some of my husband's possessions. She wants his clothes, his books, his record collection, and bizarrely, his wedding ring, for the baby to feel connected to its father. I've made it very clear to her that I will be giving her nothing of the sort. His parents and brother have some of his stuff, and she can have access to things like that through them. She kept pushing, and I lost my temper and called her an outrageous bee who should find some shame. I wouldn't be opposed to passing some of the stuff along to the child via my in-laws when they're older and can appreciate it. Not the wedding ring, which was the worst request in my opinion, but other sentimental stuff. I've also retained a lawyer to look into whether I owe the child any money legally from my husband's passing. If I don't, I may set up a trust fund for them when they're an adult with their money because I don't need it, and that seems fair. I just do not want to give this woman all I have left of my husband. I do not trust her with any of it. She thinks I'm a bitter, raging monster bee and an a-hole, and my in-laws are divided. My in-laws are largely supportive, but some think that I need to give some of his stuff to her and the baby. Some of his brothers have told me that they're sympathetic, but that I'm behaving like an a-hole and a baby by not cooperating for the sake of the child. I'm unsure whether the complicated grief is clouding my judgment. Oh boy, you came to the wrong place because I have no idea. Okay, let's think. I think holding on to the stuff until the child is a bit older, wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe share a couple of the records or things that were maybe sentimental to the father, because that would be nice for the child to have, and it's no fault of the child, and I don't know if this person that he cheated on you with was knowledgeable about the fact that he was married or whatnot. I don't know. But even if she was, that's still not her child's fault. And it would be nice for the kid to have some of that stuff. As far as giving it to this woman right away and everything, I don't think you owe her that. I think you're in the right to want to hang on to that stuff until the kid is older. And while you don't need to have a relationship with this kid, I think that you are right. Hang on to that stuff. Maybe pass some of it along through the in-laws so the kid can have it, when this child can actually appreciate it. What is a baby going to do with records? I guess maybe get raised listening to them. But I still think it would be more meaningful to be a little older and hey, these were some of your father's favorite records and stuff. And the fact that you'd be willing to put aside some of, his money in a trust for the kid, I think is also great. But yeah, a actual baby, I don't think necessarily needs that stuff. So I don't think you're being an a-hole. I think you're within your right to at the very least want to hold off. You may, depending on how willing this other woman is to listen, just explain look, I'll hang on to this stuff. We'll pass it along when the kid's older and you think they can appreciate it. But for now, I'd like to hang on to it. And if she throws a fit, then I don't know. I think you tried. You did your best. Story 2. Rude delivery driver wants a review. We'll give him a review. Several years ago, I briefly worked at B-Dubs, a popular wing restaurant. It's on campus, so it's utterly hell during football season. I was a hostess, so a big part of my job was inputting and handing out online orders to customers and delivery drivers. Part of our online order procedure was we needed the customer or delivery driver to sign the receipt for their order to confirm it was picked up. A lot of the drivers would sign and write something like, "Please review," or 5 stars, next to their signature. We had an ability in our system to go back through orders and review the driver, but we were usually too busy to do so. We saw a lot of the same guys pretty regularly because it's a large campus right near the city. Most of them understood that if the order was just put in, it could take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes for it to be ready. Wings need 12 minutes to cook, plus if there was anything put on them, plus how busy we were. But this one dude, despite being here a lot, was just an absolute D. We hostesses are not cooks and have no control over how fast things get done. He knew this. We told him as much every single time he was in, but he would still stand right at the counter, pace back and forth, huff and puff, and make snide comments at us while waiting for his order. Eventually it would come up and he'd snatch it out of our hands and storm off. The last straw was when he snapped at the new girl and made her cry. I was livid, but there was nothing I could do. After he left, it got slow for a while. I was organizing delivery receipts when I realized how I could get back at him. Like I said, he was a regular and was also one of those guys who would always write, "Please review," on their receipts. The receipts list the driver's name on them. After finding his name on the receipt, I went through our online order tablet and found every single order as far back as it went and gave this effer a 1-star review on every single order he ever picked up from us. Do you want a review? I'll give you an effing review. For those of you that haven't done delivery, your driver rating is based on an average from all customers who rate you. A single 1-star could take you from a 4.9, my average, to a 4.7 to 4.8 if you didn't have a lot of runs under your belt. I don't know about other apps, but I know the one I worked for required you to have your rating at a certain average to be allowed to continue driving, like no lower than 4.3 or something. Several 1-star ratings could devastate someone's rating. Also, review bombing the driver has no impact on the customer. A couple of days later, he's back to pick up an order. Suddenly, he's now the kindest, politest, and most patient driver we've ever had. Strange. Wonder what gave him that change of heart. This time, when he signs his receipt, he wrote 5 stars, please. So I did delivery driving for one of these apps once. I won't name which one, but yeah, your rating is important. And also, every bit of time is money for you. Like, you're constantly calculating, like, I'm making this much on my order, I have to drive this far, and sitting and waiting for an order to get ready, it's not like I'm getting paid by the hour for it. Like, time is money. And so I can understand a driver getting a little antsy about that kind of stuff, but they do also have to understand that, yeah, these things take time to cook or whatever, and it's frustrating, but you still have to be nice. Chances are you're going to encounter these restaurants a bunch in your area. And it doesn't, just because your time is so precious to you, doesn't mean they can just cook stuff faster or whatever. So don't be a jerk or this will happen to you and you're going to deserve it, I'm sorry to say. If you want to be mad at anyone, be mad at how these apps are set up, or be mad at the customers who, like, don't give you any tip whatsoever, even though you had to wait 35 minutes for their gigantic $150 order, and you get to their house and they don't give you a damn thing. Oh, what a great hour that was. I have bitterness. Story 3. I was told I had to wear a bra, so I did. This happened last week. I was swimming laps at an indoor pool near my house. I'm a woman who has a double mastectomy without reconstruction. My chest is flat. I'm comfortable with how I look, but prefer for my scars to be covered in public. As far as swimming goes, women's suits have extra material to accommodate typical chests, so when I wear them, they're baggy. For backyard swimming, I just use a couple of safety pins to keep it in place. For lap swimming, it balloons open like a parachute full of water and creates so much drag that it's difficult to swim. Tight competition swimsuits don't have enough coverage for the way the scars wrap around my sides under my arms. To get around this, I wear running shorts and a tight-fitting, coverage synthetic fabric dark-colored tank top. It works great. Last week, I was approached as I left the pool facility by a worker. He said that they had received a complaint that a woman in the pool was wearing a shirt, which is allowed, but no sports bra underneath. He then said that their policy requires women who are not in swimsuits to have sports bras under their shirts. He told me that the policy started when when they had a problem where a woman would come in to swim and only wear a thin white shirt and no bra in the pool during family swim hours. I explained politely that I had a double mastectomy and did not need a bra. I said that swimsuits don't fit me and my top is very dark and not see-through, plus even if it was see-through, all anyone would see are scars. He said he understood and felt bad, but the management requires that the dress code be followed. I explained how I was much more covered up than anyone else in the pool and in fact was wearing exactly what he was minus the whistle. He was in shorts and a tank top. There were guys in there with just tight-fitting swim bottoms on and women in bikinis. I look Amish next to them. He again said he was sorry but couldn't make an exception to the rules. I asked for the rules in writing and he gave me a printout that did say what he was telling me. This brings us to yesterday. I dug a sports bra out of a bin of an old clothes and brought it with me. I wore the same shorts and top otherwise. When I got in the water, I put the band of the bra around my head with the straps sticking up like bunny ears. People in the other lanes got a kick out of it once I explained what I was doing. I started warming up with my kickboard thinking the guy would come over and we would sort this nonsense out. Well, a lady in business clothes comes over and tells me I need to take the bra off my head. I would like to say here that this was an adult lap swim. There were no kids in the pool area. I explained it all to her and said I was following the rules to the letter. I was wearing a bra, which is all that is required. We went back and forth with her saying I knew it had to be worn normally. I said I couldn't wear it the way others do because I don't have anything to fill it and it would ride up to my chin while swimming without anything to hold it in place. She said I could use skin-safe glue. Yeah. No, I'm not going to glue unnecessary garments to my body, and I told her as much. I finally said that unless she could state the rule I was breaking, I would like to continue with my workout so I could get home to my kids and let the babysitter go home. She walked away. I swam for an hour with that bra perched on my head, lots of readjusting it and once retrieving it from the bottom of the pool, then showered and went home. This morning I checked my email, which is linked to my membership at the Aquatic Center, to find a message from her. They will not be changing their policies, but I've been granted a special exception to the rule provided I continue to wear non-see-through tops. I wish they would have just gotten rid of the silly bra rule, but I'll take this, and if I ever see another woman struggling with their swimsuit over a flat chest, I'll let them know they can wear something more comfortable. Too long didn't read. I've had a double mastectomy and was told I had to wear a sports bra in the pool, so I wore it on my head. Oh, there is no greater thing in the world than to get back at the rules by following the rules in the most devious ways you can think of, especially when they're stupid rules. Like, I understand why they have that rule. As you explained, there was someone who was wearing white t-shirts and showing off nips, and apparently the little children see that and they burst into flames. They can't handle it. Heaven forbid that people have nipples. But rules need nuance sometimes. This is why, like, sometimes you see contracts that have, like, clauses and subclauses and all this other stuff. Like, there should be exceptions. When a rule is clearly kind of dumb, you can't just be like, yeah, sorry, I know it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it's the rule. Make an exception to the rule. It's not that hard to amend a rule. It's part of why we have the word amend. You go into rules and contracts, and you change them so they make more sense, instead of just being like, well, this is what the rules say and they can never be changed. They were forged by God, the God of the pool. Heaven forbid that we do anything else. Story 4. Today I effed up when I fed my grandma the dog's training treats. Today I effed up. No, I know, it sounds bad, but hear me out. I, 29 female, was feeding my great-grandmother's elderly dog, 20 male, his breakfast. Elderly dog is a slow and stubborn eater, and we have another dog, Sparky, who doesn't know when to stop. Sparky, 8 male, loves to eat, so I distracted him with a little bit of bacon-flavored training treats while elderly dog finished eating. I had been sitting in my great-grandma's spot when I was doing all of this, mind you. My great-grandma, 93 female, is a little hard of hearing and sight to put it very kindly. She's still pretty spry, but as stubborn as all get out. We still love her. Anyhow, I had set down the bag of treats on her side of the table and forgotten about them. Don't beat me to the punchline because we see where this is going. Great-grandma had a bag of mixed nuts in a blue bag, very similar to the one I had just left on her table. When I came back out a couple hours later, Great-grandma snapped at me and I was shocked. My grandma, 73 female, looked at me and immediately started busting up laughing. I was absolutely confused as I had no idea why Great-grandma was upset with me. It was then they both replayed the scenario for me through lots of snarls and spats of hysterical laughter. I am no longer allowed to set things down on Great-grandma's table as I am liable to unalive her with more stale, nasty nuts. Too long didn't read. My great-grandma ate the dog's treats I forgot on her side table, thinking they were her mixed nuts. FYI, she doesn't recommend them, but the dog does, so take it for what you will. I mean, come on. If you've had dogs and you've got like the right kind of treats, you've been curious. Like, what do these actually taste like? Maybe these are pretty good. I don't know. And now you have that information. Great grandma, she found out for you. So, I mean, I don't know, she doesn't like them, but the dog still does. Maybe you still got to try them. Maybe you got to just look at great grandma, grab the bag and just pop a handful, be like, they're delicious. And, that's a power move or a huge mistake. One of the two. Or both. Who knows? Oh, great grandma. That story was nuts. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.